So last year I was scrolling around on the Nintendo eShop just looking for something new to play. It was, I believe, early to mid 2021. And then I came across a game called Tori 3D, a game developed by Siactro. It was 99 cents. I really liked its low poly aesthetic, and there was something about the main character that just worked for me. I figured, worst case scenario, if I don't like this, I only spent $1 on it. I proceeded to 100% the game in an hour. It's such a fun little game. It's fast-paced and fun. There's time trials. You can unlock different characters. I really enjoyed it. So then I decided to look into the developer and see if he made other games. Turns out, there's quite a bit. The next game I decided to buy was one called MacBat64. MacBat himself was a playable character that you could unlock in Tori. So after playing that short-lived little exploration platformer, I was hooked. And then the next thing you know, Tori 2 comes out, and it's better than the first in every way possible. Then DLC comes out, and there's even more levels made by fans. And next thing I know, Siactro is now my favorite developer for indie titles. What I really enjoy is that everything feels connected in these games. MacBat himself appears in his own game, and then proceeded to be put in Tori as a playable character. Tori themselves has been added to this fantastic game that just came out called Lunistis, and I freaking love this game. It reminds me of Tori, but has some slight advantages on combat, but Tori works perfectly for this. One thing that's really cool is that MacBat's game actually has a character who would go on to get his own game. Kiwi, a bird you could find on the first island in the game, mentions having his own adventure. Well, fast forward to 2022, and Super Kiwi 64 exists. Now, I was very happy that my favorite indie developer sent me a review code for this game so that I could play it early and make this video for you guys. Also, sorry if I sound sick, it's because I'm recovering from some disease or something, I don't know, it came out in 2020, apparently it's a big deal, I don't know. Actually, 2 months ago, a game called Beanie came out, and it was a prequel to Super Kiwi 64. Beanie is a 2D platformer in the vein of the Donkey Kong Country games where you play as a little round bee called, well, Beanie. And your goal is to help Kiwi by collecting honey to make glue so that he can make a raft because he has a big adventure to go on. It's a short little game, it only costs 99 cents, and after beating it, you get to play a prequel level to Super Kiwi 64? That's pretty interesting. Here's where we get the story. Kiwi spots an island in the sky while venturing out on his raft on the waters. He is attacked by a storm and thrown into the air. When he awakes, he meets a dog who simply asks him to collect 5 energy cells. These energy cells will become important in the main game. After you collect them, he says that there's more to do, and thus, Beanie ends. This came out about 2 months ago, and it was a really fun game, and it got me excited for Super Kiwi 64, which came out today. I'll be playing this on Steam as I was provided a code for this. However, I did buy a copy on Nintendo Switch as well. You're met with a title screen that has an almost luminous sounding soundtrack. You start the game and you're thrown right into the game. No story beats or anything. I guess you were expected to play Beanie. This is where we will get into how the game is built. There is a hub world with 8 levels for you to explore. Each level will allow Kiwi to explore these smaller collectathon levels where you will have various collectibles. Each level houses 6 of the energy cells, meaning that there are 48 in total. Your goal is to collect at least 40 of them to see the ending of the game. If you collect 48, you might get a little something extra along the way. These levels are pretty small, slightly bigger than that of what was found in MacBat. Your goal is to collect the energy cells as I previously mentioned. How you go about doing these can vary, but you're generally met with similar tasks. Your main goal is to get to the end of the level, where you will find one. The second one can be collected by grabbing the secondary collectibles in the form of gears. These can vary from anywhere from 30 to 50 per level. After collecting them all, you'll get your second one. There's always a ring challenge, where going through 5 rings scattered throughout the levels will allow you to get a third one. There's a fourth one hidden randomly in a level, and then there are 2 other ones that have various different tasks depending on the level. For example, unlocking a door with a bunch of keys, or defeating a certain amount of enemies, or raising the lava level in order to get to a higher area to collect one. They're very different, and I like that about this a lot. So one thing I really enjoy is that the levels are varied. There are 4 central themes, and there are 2 levels per theme. So, you get a decent amount of time spent in each level. However, the game is still relatively short. I will say that the game only clocked me in at about 40 minutes, but it's still a great time nonetheless. I really enjoy how Kiwi controls in this game. You have your basic movement and camera controls, which are really good. They're very smooth and fluid, and you have camera control options to invert the X and Y axis, which is always appreciated. Kiwi also has a run button, so that you can move at 2 different speeds. I really like running around the levels as fast as I possibly can, that Tori and Lunistance vibe that I really like. I really like how fast-paced it can be. Kiwi can also jump and hover with his jetpack wings. He doesn't have any arms or wings, so he just has a backpack. It's cool. You can also glide at 2 different speeds. If you're holding down the run button, you can actually go really fast. It's actually really cool. Also, Kiwi has an attack. If you press the action button, you can do this dive forward. And if you do it in the air, you can do like an aerial dive, which can give you some great distance. But like if you're also flying, it can help you cross distance really fast. But you can only do 1 in the air at a time, so you'll have to touch the ground again if you want to use it again. But if you use this attack against a wall, he'll actually shove his beak into the wall, and if you just keep jumping and attacking, you can just scale walls. You can scale so high that sometimes you can go way past the boundaries of the level, and it's just awesome. I love it. But I did this on purpose because one thing I loved about Tori was that there was hidden little things you could find outside of the level's boundaries. So of course, obviously, I explored. And in one instance, I actually got kicked out of the level for doing so. It's actually pretty funny. But yeah, that's your general gameplay. It's a really fun game. I mean, that's really all I can say, is that I just really find this game fun. That's what I love about the games that Siactro develops. It's amazing. The music is also really, really good. Siactro's music has been fantastic. I've been playing an assortment of music from Beanie and Super Kiwi 64 because they're both fantastic. The Tori soundtracks are also really good. But like, the music is really atmospheric, and then in other instances they can be very energetic, and I really like the compositions. I can't wait for this to actually get a real release. I had to rip the music myself just to have access to it. It's so good. But yeah, that's pretty much the main gist of the game. After you collect at least 40 of the energy spheres, you can go over to the dog, and he has an airplane, and you can jump in the airplane, and they fly off, and yeah, he takes Kiwi home, and that's the game. The story's not the most important thing. The gameplay is where it truly matters. It's a lot of fun. But what if you collect 48? You actually unlock a doorway which leads you to this giant mantle with symbols on it. So if you've been exploring the main levels, every single level has these symbols plastered in one location. These are passwords, and if you enter them on this screen, you can get various different little things. It's super cute, simple stuff like transforming into a different character, or getting a high moon jump, which is fun, and then this really weird, jarring first-person mode that controls really odd. But one of them actually also unlocks a secret pipe. I should mention that there is a 49th energy sphere that you get for unlocking this area with the 48, but if you unlock this entrance, you get this almost beta level that looks like it was probably used for testing purposes. It actually reminds me a lot of other Nintendo 64 games. Like, there's references that remind me a lot of the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time, and Clanker from Banjo-Kazooie and Clanker's Cavern. It's really cool, but if you scale up the central structure and you get to the top, there's another bird like Kiwi. And with that bird is the 50th energy sphere. Collecting it doesn't do anything. You don't unlock anything for getting these extra two. But it's just it's a nice little extra thing that didn't have to be there, but I really appreciate the fact that it was. So in conclusion, I really enjoyed Super Kiwi 64. It was a really fun game. It's probably my second favorite game now in this ongoing world of games developed by them. I think Tori 2 is their best game by far, and I would highly recommend it. But absolutely get this game. Super Kiwi 64 is only $3, and right now they're running a deal in North America where if you buy it, you get Beanie for free, and if you already have Beanie, you get this game for $1 less. It's $3. You can't go wrong with it. It's a lot of fun. It'll take anyone from 40 minutes to roughly an hour. It took me about an hour to mess around with the codes and beat the game and complete it. So, you know, it's not that bad. For $3, you really could do worse. I think this game is amazing, and I look forward to what's coming up next. And seriously, I mean it. Serious thank you to Siactro for giving me a review code for this. You are the quintessential indie developer in my opinion, and I love your work, and I really, really hope I can talk about these more in the future. I know you guys were waiting for some Spyro videos, and I really apologize. There's been a lot going on. I'm glad I could make this small video in the meantime, just to hold you guys over, and this one was a little off script. I didn't have a legitimate script written for this one, I just had some notes, and I've kind of just been generally letting my thoughts out here. It's not my usual structure of video, but I mean, I only had a day to get this put together, so yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, share the video with your friends, and thank you again to all my wonderful patrons for your continued support throughout all this time, and I hope you all have yourselves a great night. Take care.